Never rewind, never look back. Breathe, take it in, move on.
Welcome to this week's edition of The T-Zone, and I am so excited by our guest today. Some of you might know her from her phenomenal podcast, How to Own the Room, and others, it might be a new relationship, but one you will not regret. She's now also written a fantastic book, Lift As You Climb, and I can't wait for you to meet Viv Groskop. Because I asked you before, what does Groskop, is that whatever, and you said to me, it means...
Fat head. Why not be a big head? Why not?
Exactly.
Big head, more makeup.
Big head, more makeup, more presents. Looking at this and I was thinking, tell me your life.
My life?
Tell me your life.
I started out as a journalist about 25 years ago, and I had an early career at Cosmopolitan, Esquire, The Express, The Telegraph. Very quickly realised that I wasn't made for office life.
Yeah.
And by my mid-20s, I got out and I was freelance, and I was mostly freelancing for places like The Guardian and The Observer. Then I had 3 children, and as they began to grow up, I was having a bit of a sort of early midlife crisis.
Yeah, midlife crisis. You probably, how old are you now? Like mid-30s? No, then.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I thought, yeah, mid-30s.
Mid-30s.
Once I had 3 quite small children, I was getting a bit antsy about things and thinking I don't have anyone to blame because I'm freelance, so it can't be that my work is wrong, I hate my boss. And I started to cast around for what was missing, and that's how I got into doing stand-up comedy.
Well, you were funny. I mean, when you were younger, did people look at you and go, Viv, say that again, you were so brilliant? I mean, it's very interesting for me to go from serious journalist to stand-up comedian.
Yeah, one of the things that prompted me to make the move was that a really close friend of mine said, like, I just don't think you have as much fun as you used to. Like you.
So go be a stand-up comedian. I'm sorry.
It did make me realise that I was kind of squashing something in myself, and it needed to come out.
All right.
And I didn't know for sure if it was just a scratch that I needed to itch.
So did you literally go to clubs and just do stand-up comedy?
I started out like lots of people do in workshops. You workshop stuff with people, and then you go to these absolutely mostly horrible open mic nights where there could be one man and a dog, and you've still got to go on. You just work your way up that way, and then I ended up doing Edinburgh shows for 6-7 years. And that led into me teaching other people how to do this, because loads of people were saying to me, how do you cope with heckles? How do you cope with hostility? How do you learn all of that? And I'd had to learn it quite fast, because early on I got booked to do tours for people like Jennifer Saunders and Joe Brand.
Pressure.
Yeah, big audiences, like way bigger than I was ready for, and I was just part of the tour, so it wasn't about me, but I still had to learn how to kind of fake that.
Really, like talking about this for our audience, it's how can you go anywhere and feel you're heard? Give us the top 5 things.
I'm like my ballet teacher in this minute.
Yeah.
Right,
come on now, let's get straight. Posture.
One of the most obvious things, and I almost hate talking about this because it sounds so basic, but it is just holding yourself in.
Holding which part of you? Come on, I want to get into technical detail.
So this is...
Am I also clenching my arse?
Clench if you can. There are different stages to this. Pulling up from the core and shoulders back, because you see immediately if somebody speaks to you from this place, it's much easier to listen to them than if they speak to you from this place.
Yeah, because
even now,
watching
where your
to
head
these
is
ladies
as well, and keeping your head, the chin not up too far, not down too far.
Why
Place.
is that? Not up too far,
because
not down
again,
too far.
If you see somebody giving a presentation, they're doing it like this, and there's quite a lot of men who speak to you from this place. Already it's distancing. And then if somebody's down here, again, it makes them look sort of very nervous and a bit constipated.
All right. An element in this, is tricky for me, because every room I go into, I am like this for quite a lot of people.
Because you're tall.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking, I love what you said, because it's that thing of, that's why a lot of people might have said you're quite cold and snotty.
However you've learnt to do this, you've mastered it, because how I feel in relation to you now, I feel very comfortable.
And that's really what we want to do, isn't it?
Occupying your height in a comfortable way. I have worked with some women who are tall, who are really hunched and trying to almost apologise for their height. Number 1, posture.
Suck it in, feel comfortable around that space and project.
Absolutely. Number 2, don't make it about you. This is the key. This is a mental shift. You want to be thinking about what the audience are getting out of this, how you can look after them. I like to almost think about this in a maternal way, that you've come here to care for them and see what they need. I mean, perhaps don't literally, make them some scrambled egg or something.
If we're not a stand-up comedian in a club, when you're saying that bit of advice, which is just think about the other people in the room, how do you translate that to the PTA or you're in a meeting at work?
You want to avoid getting in that kind of
and put it back out there.
And put it back out there, think, what have I come here to tell these people? What do they need to hear? Taking in how other people are responding, but also not obsessing in case they're not responding. Because I've worked with some people who'll say, I have to give a speech in front of my boss, and he always sits there with a copy of the FT in the front row and only occasionally lowers it to make a disapproving face and then pulls up again. In a way, learn to look for the people who are responding and nodding and look happy and get some energy and positivity from them. The ones who aren't, that's okay. Focus on the ones who are.
Okay, number 3.
Something very simple that I have noticed you do not do, Trinny, and that is very good, which is avoiding uptalk.
What's uptalk?
Uptalk is when you tell everyone that your name is Viv and your husband's name is Simon, and you've come here today to talk to Trinny about Trinny London.
But then you must be from Australia.
So
because I like that when it's in Australia.
Yeah.
And I hear it because I'm in Australia and I love Australians.
Yeah, well, there are different accents which really lend themselves, and that can sound really beautiful in some accents. But in other accents, it always sounds as if you just don't know what you're talking about. And you need to make sure you push it down at the end.
And I think I'm Tony Blair. Yes, it's true. And I don't believe him.
No.
It's very true, isn't it?
And the more you hear this, the more you notice it. Think about mind the gap. Mind the gap. Because you never would hear, mind the gap.
Let's mind the gap.
Because you wouldn't be convinced by it. So it's just a shortcut to being convincing and believable.
Right. Don't go up unless you're Australian. Loving these. Are we loving these?
Yeah.
We're loving these. Number 4.
Number 4 is breathing. So this is closely linked to the posture and the holding the shoulders back. And I still get nervous before I do things. I hope you do too, Trinny, because if we don't care enough, I think.
Yeah.
Putting my voice up a bit there.
You were, because you were just checking that I would agree a bit with you, because I'm not sure if
I
do
would
yet.
do this before something. You take yourself off to one side and you do what I call brain and stomach, breathe through feet. So you have your shoulders back, you've got your posture in, you're breathing lightly closing your eyes, and you think brain and stomach. So you let your brain drop like a stone into your stomach. Breathe through your feet.
That bit I don't get, sorry.
Breathe through your feet. So you're imagining, you're ballet trained, aren't you, Trinny? Are you ballet trained? You see from your posture, So you're imagining that your breath is coming right up through the earth. And it's very calming and centering. I'm not sure it is for you, Trinny. I can't feel it.
But it's very weird when you said breathe through your feet, because I was like, no, sorry. And then suddenly I am breathing through my feet. Are you breathing through your feet?
Yeah. There's nothing scientific about this. I don't want to pretend for a second that this is remotely scientific.
But I like the fact I've never had breathing through your feet before.
It's something I picked up in comedy training or workshops or something that just works for me.
I'm going to recap as we do it, because it's like, that game when you were a child. In my suitcase I packed standing properly.
Posture.
I packed, it's about the other people in the room. I packed mind the gap, and I packed my feet breath.
Yes.
Great, okay.
Feet breath.
Feet breath, okay.
Brain and stomach, breathe
Number
through feet.
5.
Don't obsess about preparation. I am aware that this is quite controversial, because when people are preparing for job interview, presentation of any kind, anything where you're under pressure, people always want to know exactly what they're going to say, exactly how it's going to work out. Make one clear point, or maximum 3 clear points, and just be firm with those. Make sure they're going across and let everything else go.
When I listen to you say that, I think to myself, especially when you have an audience where I always feel women want to talk about 90 things around an issue and men talk about one, and men can absorb one clear thing at once but can absorb many one after the other. Women, we clutter. So I do find that. But
there's a theory that women talk like this, and we talk in circles, and we take ages. We don't ever necessarily even get to the point, because that's not interesting. We like the interaction. But in a professional conversation, you want to do an arrow going on the target. So here's my point, there's where it goes.
That was just so good, Viv. I mean,
what can I say?
Oh, okay. But after this, do we need to go into a skincare? We do, yes, because, oh my God, it's called
Extra content.
the T-Zone. In this bag, we love the bag most of all. You have
I'm a big fan of this bag.
Okay, NARS palette.
Yeah, this is a NARS palette that I bought in the sale, and I'm so excited about it. It's their Studio 54 palette. And I'm slightly worried about you analysing the contents of my
I love it because the glitter, I love the purple, I love.
I love the glitter. I'm interested to know from you actually, Trinny, because I'm thinking age-wise, am I at the last exit zone for the glitter?
Look, can I show my love for you?
Okay.
Is I'm putting, this is the first time ever I put somebody else's makeup brand on, but I'm just going to say tap on that glitter with joy and wear it with pride.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good to hear.
Just smell it. Just smell it and then ask yourself, should you be putting something like that on your face if you have a skincare routine?
Probably hasn't been washed for quite a long time. Quite old and a bit nasty.
Just like that. Nice colour.
Do you think
the powder?
I think
step away from powder.
Yeah.
Sorry, we have to just do join your two. So I would do more.
Something a bit peachier, maybe.
This is Wix, named after my sister.
Okay.
I don't want you to go all matty with too much powder.
I'm never going to go matty ever again.
Then we've got.
Oh, this is a Beauty Pie product. It's called Double Phase Cleanser. And it's very, very bubbly. It smells gorgeous. It's very easy to use. I go through a lot of cleansers. I like my skin to feel really, really clean before I go to sleep.
Very good. Okay, I might actually pull that in because I use this one, which I do love from them as well. I've used the Japan Infusion.
Oh, I've been meaning to try this.
I'm going to give you that to try. In Transit Camera Close-Up. What's this?
This works. This is a brilliant thing to use as a mask. So it's a moisturiser, but you can also put loads of it on your face and keep it on overnight, so don't rub it in. And it just sort of tightens everything up.
Okay.
I love these kind of products. Is Beauty Flash. I mean, this...
Oh my God, it's like such an... But does it pale for you?
I go through periods of not using that for ages and ages, and then when I use it again, it gives me a bit of a lift. And
I must have used this for like 20 years. I found it paled, but then now that I've got Trinny London products, it might not pale on top, but it did tighten and lift, and you put it over makeup in the middle of the day.
Nice. That's okay. This is a Rose Plumping Mask from the Body Shop. I just put it all over and sit in the bath for 10 minutes, and then you wipe it all off again.
Okay.
And it's just very refreshing, smells gorgeous, and it feels like a little mini facial without ever having to do anything.
I want to try that as well.
This is Becca,
I
think, and this is from one of my favourite places to get makeup and skincare, other than Trinny London, of course, which is TK Maxx. Love TK Maxx.
I went there and I got a Balenciaga black Batman patent cape, and I got a yellow Rochas thing on Sunday.
So I bought this on a bit of a whim because I wasn't sure if the colour was quite right for me.
Hands are paler than your face. So you think this is too pale for you or too dark for you?
I thought this might be a bit too pale for my face.
I see. It's too dark for your hands for sure.
Oh, okay.
And for your face.
No, this is going to be
You've
bad
got
news.
freckles, so it's a little bit too pale.
Is it too pale?
A little bit too pale, yeah. It is. Mix it in with some drops. It's going to now cost you more because you saved on TK Maxx and you're going to buy drops. But like Dr. Hauschka does nice little drops. Gourmand does those Teint d'Or drops, but you could just put that in. It might go a bit orange, but it's away.
I'm embarrassed because I didn't think that you would be going through
I mean, I'm literally...
Don't touch it, you'll get conjunctivitis.
How long have you had that?
I haven't had it that long, like maybe 6 months.
Okay, do you do this a lot?
Probably.
Let's put the oxygen back in the mascara and make it go up even quicker. That's what happens.
Yeah, I know.
The smell is like, I mean...
Okay, you can stick it in with that if you like. Tom Ford Pussycat from right now. I love this colour.
Open up a bit more. Yeah, it's a nice colour on you. Very pretty.
Really love that.
It's got a lot of stuff in it. This is not just your makeup, so I'm impressed your skincare routine is there. That's going to go somewhere else. Can I just say, I'm going to do the last 5 quick-fire questions.
Great.
Would you rather hear the good news or the bad news first?
Always bad news first.
Would you rather get a boob job or a facelift?
No, neither. Other people may decide how they want. I'm totally squeamish.
Eyeliner or eyeshadow?
Glittery eyeshadow.
Oh, yes!
Yes.
Thank you. Would you rather have a pause or rewind button in your life?
Oh, pause. Never rewind. Never look back. Have no regrets. Just pause, breathe, take it in, move on.
Would you rather be the funniest person in a room or the smartest person in the room?
Funniest.
Of course, hands down. That's why you're in the career you're in.
Because smart people are really quite annoying.
And smart people are always slightly on their own in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you want to own the room and have the room feel it's with you.
Absolutely.
The joy of Viv. Thank you for coming. Yes!